I didn't do this on my own. I had a lot of help from a ton of people growing up since I was 5 years old, my family. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, Michael Waltrip, and Gary Bechtel at Diamond Waltrip Racing, and now Roush Fenway, Wood Brothers. I mean, all my crew chiefs along the way. If I thought I did this on my own, then I probably would be floating away, but that would be a complete lie. And, I mean, to see what God's done here, positioning me even through the tough times, I mean, he knew this was going to happen. So, this isn't for me. It's not anything I did by myself, and, I can't ever think that way. And that in itself should be enough to keep us humble because in racing, you have your ups, but you definitely have more downs. So we got to keep that in perspective and not get too much on a mountaintop here.
I suppose girls are just throwing themselves at you right now.
It's been pretty wild. I didn't have a Valentine this year, and I don't think it'll be that way next year. It's been different. I got my first police escort to San Francisco, and I'm like, what is going on? We got two black, trucks here, cops going everywhere guiding us, and we get out on a red carpet and girls have marry me signs, and I'm just like, what is going on? And one of the reporters said, would you be asking him this if he finished third? Like, what would, and they're like, oh yeah, of course they were going to say that. But it's just it's been cool to see that the whole support of the United States outside of our community. I was talking about this earlier, but there's people that I get Twitters and Facebooks, and they're like, I'm a fan of NASCAR now because of what you and the Wood Brothers have done this weekend, and just the storyline. And it's just to see the support and the young crowds. I mean, being on the Ellen show and the Lopez show, and just getting out there. I think it's cool to make the young people see that our sport is cool, because I think a lot of people have lost that, and even my friends, like, they're like, oh, it's NASCAR, and then they come to a race and they're like, wow, this is something I never thought it would be like this. So we got to show them, that this is an awesome sport. It's something that I love, and I think they all would if they just get that little bit of insight. So maybe this story will get them involved in it again. I was actually more nervous for this kind of stuff because you all know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. I can say anything on their shows. And I'm like, oh, great, And so when I go to do that, it's kind of fun because they don't know much about racing. And we kind of take it wherever and just talk, and that was cool. But, the first 2 days were kind of tough. There were a lot of interviews, a lot of tough questions, and it's kind of backed off the last couple of days and just been more fun stuff. I was a little bit starstruck backstage on a couple of them, though. Like I said, Bobby Valentino and Pam Anderson, and just even meeting Ellen and George Lopez, and it was different, but I enjoyed it.
Following up, when the White House calls you, what shows up on your screen, if you can say? On the phone, is it the White House or
your phone lights up red and
exactly.
Shuts down, and no, I'm just kidding. It was just a private number, just like if somebody was prank calling you, and that's what I thought it was, and actually my hometown radio station, they caught wind of that Obama was supposed to be calling, and so I get a private number and I answer. It's like 6 in the morning here because it was like 9 or 10 or 7 at home or whatever, or I don't even know what time it was, but it was late there, and I was like 6 here, and so I'm sleeping. I answer, and I'm like, hello, and they're like, hello, Trevor, this is President Obama. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on? And they're like, we got you. It's Andy and Allison, and so everybody's having fun with it. But, yeah, it just says private. It was such deep thought when it was going on. And, I had a lot of it kind of planned, but I didn't plan it that way. I figured I'd be the pusher, make the last lap pass. But as it happened, I knew what I had to do. But now when I try to look back at it, it's like a blur. Everything was just happening so fast. And I just remember driving toward the start-finish line. It was like slow motion. And I'm just like, what is going on? There's no way this is happening. And, when I watched the race and watched things that happened, it was like from about 5 laps to go to the beginning of the race, I can remember everything that happened. And the last 5 laps, it's like just a complete blur that I was just like, just do it, just driving or whatever. And I can't tell you everything that happened at that point.